Thank you for joining the fight. Welcome to the first ever Fraud Fighters Virtual Summit, powered by Unit 21. You are in the company of 2,000 other like-minded fraud and AML practitioners and industry experts. We have curated over 20 sessions for you and over 40 speakers with one mission: fight fraud and stop bad actors. Invest in yourself today. Put yourself on Do Not Disturb and fully dive in. Get your Fraud Fighters swag right here. Navigate the agenda to jump from session to session here. Missed a session? No worries. They are all immediately available on demand. See Unit 21 in action right here. Now.
Let's get ready to rumble!
Oh, wait. Ma'am, no! No, 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 no! No! No!
Did you get the money?
To the wrong person. You sent the gun to the. I didn't get anything. You are stupid. You asked me such questions.
Please, let me send the money back to you.
Ma'am.
Please.
Can you keep quiet, yes or no?
Are you mad? Are you mad? Why are you leaving God?
Hello, Steve?
Why are you leaving? Why are you leaving?
Shut up! Shut up! Idiot!
Hey, Joe.
Shut up!
Who told you that I am a scammer?
I call
From the
scammers.
first day.
I call scammers for fun. That's why so many scammers call me all day long, because they think I'm an old lady. They think they can scam me. It's so sad.
How about now? Can you hear me now? Okay, thank you so much for having me, guys. Thank you for being here today. Super excited to be a part of this. I see thumbs up. Thank you. Awesome. If you don't know me, I'm Kitboga. I have had the opportunity to make a lot of scammers angry over the past handful of years. I'm hoping today, collectively, we're going to be able to figure out ways to make them even angrier. If you don't know me, I want to start off really quick just talking about a little bit of how I got started. So in 2017, I first heard about tech support scams, and I was watching a YouTube video, ironically, about it was this recording of the recording of an older gentleman. You may have heard of this. It's called Hey, It's Lenny. And it said something about a Microsoft tech support scammer talking about this. I immediately realized that if I, as a millennial who's in the tech world, had never heard about tech support scams, then my grandmother, who had dementia, my grandfather, who had Alzheimer's, would definitely not know anything about these scams. And if those scammers were to call them, they would very likely fall for it. So that was sort of my, I don't know, call to adventure, this moment where I thought I really need to do something. And so I just started making phone calls. I didn't need a whole lot of technology at the time. I could take a phone call. I knew enough about virtual machines to feel comfortable letting a scammer connect to my computer. And I just started. And I didn't really shut up about it. So my friends eventually told me maybe I should stream it on Twitch so they could watch. And I think sometime in 2017, I went live specifically for my friends. I had no ambitions to become a content creator, if you will. But then it turned out that lots of people wanted to watch it. And before I knew it, there were 20 people. I remember one day, 20 people were there in the chat when I started my stream, and I didn't know who they were. So I went out to the car and I got some aviator glasses because I thought then nobody will know who I am. and that just sort of stuck with me. I'll keep them off today, but yeah, it's been quite the journey, and I think we got a lot to talk about today. Started off fairly simple with phone calls and virtual machines, but as time went on, things got a little bit more complicated. So I needed to build out technology like fake bank accounts or fake Google Play stores. I had to work with AI. We've gotten to partner with some really cool companies like Kraken, who gave me access to their environment so we can invite scammers on there. We've built our own fake Bitcoin environments. We're building up a team. We're creating anti-scam software, and it's been quite the journey. But today I want to do something a little bit different than I normally do on YouTube. So a lot of my videos are more entertaining. They're more on the humorous side. I realized early on that if I just made a video that said, here's the top 10 scams to look out for, not very many people were going to click it. I'm excited today to talk about some of the things that happen behind the scenes, some of the investigation we do. I really don't get into a lot of that on any of the YouTube videos, but I think it can be valuable, or I hope that it can be valuable for all of you listening as we think about how we can fight back against all the fraud that's going on. I've talked to, I was trying to put a number on this. Unfortunately, I don't know the exact number, but perhaps tens of thousands of scammers over the years. Everything from IRS scams to the fake virus pop-up scammers to pig butchering scammers, romance scammers. Jokingly, I've married the Nigerian prince that emails you. Like, we actually did marriage ceremonies over the phone, right? We've done it all, but I think I have a unique perspective because I've essentially become the victim in these situations. A lot of people ask me how I actually find the scammers, and a lot of it's just knowing where to look. So, for example, it doesn't take long to find scammers on some place like Facebook. This is surely these can't all be the real Brad Pitt. There are pages and pages and pages of fake profiles on social media platforms. This guy swears he's the real one, though. I was talking to him last night a bit, and we'll come back to Brad Pitt later. There's also a lot of clever Googling you can do. You just take a couple seconds, search for something like guaranteed profit or maybe like a gold plan, and you're going to find dozens, if not thousands. I know my team and I have found hundreds of thousands of these fake investment sites all over the internet. Surely this is not the Delta marketing team's best work here. These are just a bunch of scammers trying to get you to call the fake Delta hotline number. It's honestly all over the place. Like, this poor lady's funeral guest book has scammers spamming the pages saying, if you need someone to help you, you've been hacked, or you need to get into your bank account or your cryptocurrency, they're everywhere. They use legitimate platforms a lot too. So they've got pay-per-click ads, they have Facebook ads. If you read an article about, I don't know, the best Tupperware brands or the best cast iron skillet, and you click the wrong thing saying you want to get notifications, suddenly you're going to have pop-ups saying your system's at risk. So I've seen a lot. I've kind of signed up to all of the wrong mailing lists. I'm on a lot of scammers sites, but also the community that we've built over the years sends me a lot of really important information. So I have this form that people fill out. If you watch my YouTube videos or live streams, I often talk about sending in submissions. So every single day, I have dozens of people all over the world who have sent something in, and they said, my grandma saw this thing on the internet. I got this voicemail. I got this text message. This isn't much of a spoiler, but here's from the past few days, or I think this is today. Sorry, yesterday. It's mostly crypto/investment scams or pig butchering scams, a couple refund scams. But seeing this real time is really valuable. So I find a lot of new scams this way because the community will send stuff in. For example, a couple of weeks ago, I heard about this was new to me. I guess it's been on for a year or two now, but these scammers that target self-published authors. So someone sent me an email that their mother had received about publishing her children's book and getting a movie deal. It turned into this whole thing. Believe it or not, if I want to collect information from scammers and I want to see how the scam works, maybe I want to get their bank accounts shut down or their crypto accounts shut down, they won't give those things to me if I ask nicely. So I have to figure out how the scam works, and ultimately I have to become the perfect victim. Some of you know the term social engineering, or I like to think of it as hacking a scammer's brain. So I'll kind of walk through a little bit of how I do that and what it kind of feels like to really be the victim in a lot of cases. So one of the first things I learned early on is that if I call scammers and I just use my voice, it doesn't always work so well. Maybe I sound tech savvy, I don't know. So I've had to learn to manipulate my voice in different ways. I
play a lot of different characters and I have to pitch shift my voice.
Ultimately, if I'm going to call the same scammer time and time again to get information, I have to be able to
be a different person. And that allows us to kind of get an inside look at what happens when you call back to back to back. I've had to change my face before for a while, as particularly in scammers on your computer. They're going to pull up a webcam. And so you can see there, I had to augment my face to actually kind of look older to match the part. And if I do my job right, and I seem like I'm a decent target, I start to fall for any one of these scams, then it's not a 5-minute phone call or a 5-hour phone call. It might become 5 days or 5 months, or some scammers we've talked to for years. And what that allows us to do is collect a lot more information, see a lot of the tactics they use, but also we'll find, and we'll talk about this a little bit more later, but we'll find that scammers will often sort of repeat scam you and try a lot of different tactics. So if you just Google, how does a tech support scam work? You're only going to get, say, the basics. You're not really going to find out what happens until you go through it as a victim. Once they think I'm a good target, maybe I sound a little bit older or something, they're likely going to want to make sure that you have money. And so I've had to do things like create fake bank accounts. I think in something like 2019, I made a bank myself, and it was called Second Community American Mutual, which stood for, or short, SCAM. But the scammers caught on to that pretty quick. So I've had to spoof legitimate banks like Bank of America or Chase, because scammers need to believe that you have money to be a good target. And I wasn't going to let them go onto my own bank. So I used different like bank demo websites and things like that. Ultimately, if they think you got money and they think you're a good target, they're going to ask you to buy something, right? They need to figure out a way to get money from me. So I've had to fake pictures. I mean, these are like staged pictures on the screen. We have folders of just hundreds of images we've had to use to make it look like I've bought gift cards or I've went to the store and gotten cash. People in the community have even taken photos. Like, that's not my hand. I need to look a little bit older, right? We've had to fake outgoing wire confirmations. And all this is because you can only go so far when you're talking to a scammer unless they really believe that you're falling for the scam. So if I go and I buy gift cards, inevitably they're going to want to make sure that the code on the back is legitimate. Or if I do a wire transfer, they're going to want to see that that money left the bank account. So I need to be able to manipulate that fake bank, or I need to be able to do something with the gift cards. That kind of forced us to make a fake Google Play Store fairly early on. This made a significant number of scammers very angry. And I think people who are generally familiar with me have probably seen clips of this, because I would pretend to go to the store, I would come back home and type in the code on the back in this fake Google Play Store. And any 16-digit alphanumeric code would just say $500 was added to my balance. Now, I didn't do that just to make them angry. We also did that because this psychologically convinces the scammer that they almost won. In their mind, I did everything correctly. The scammer, they were the perfect scammer. They did their script perfectly. They tricked me really, really well. It was just at this last second, I made a mistake and I typed the code here. And what we found was that they would just call back the next day and the next day and the next day. And they saw me as that perfect target, that perfect victim that would be, they know I have money in my bank account. They know that I went to the store and they almost got that money. More recently, in the past couple of years, it seems like they've shifted away. Of course, they still use gift cards and wire fraud, but they've shifted more towards crypto. Maybe that's the flavor of the year or the month, let's say. So I've had the opportunity to partner with Kraken, where we built a custom environment that looks just like their environment. So now we can see what happens when the scammers are dealing with crypto. They try to send money to their own wallets. But all this, again, is to prove that I am a good target. In the scammer's mind, I have a significant amount of money in this crypto exchange, and they're going to do everything that they can to try to take it. So whether it's gift cards, whether it's cash, whether it's Bitcoin ATMs, we've kind of done a little bit of everything. Whether they want me to go buy gold, whether they want me to put cash in a box and mail it to them. One big thing that we've been able to experience over the years is that when you get to that point and they believe that you really did mail the cash just to the wrong address, or you really did buy the gift card, you just redeemed the gift card code. You see where I'm going? They will now double down and try tactics that maybe they don't do normally out of the gate. The script is thrown out now. They see you as a good target. So we'd start to see them spoofing police phone numbers, pretending to be the FTC. Maybe they pretend to be Google or Bank of America, and they're saying, we noticed something was strange on your account. And that 5-minute phone call becomes 5 hours, becomes 5 days, becomes 5 months. And in a way, with respect to victims, I have become a victim, right? Of course, I haven't actually lost money in these, but I get the hundreds and hundreds of phone calls. I get the death threats. I get the pressure that these scammers employ. I watch what they're doing on my computer. And I think it's worth talking about what it looks like from that perspective. And I hope that can inspire some of you to take it and see what you might be able to do in your respective fields or on your platforms. There's a couple big tactics, a couple things I've noticed over the years. So, of course, this isn't the end all be all. There's other tactics that scammers do, but 3 main ones that I see are: they want to keep you isolated. They want to make sure you're alone. They don't want you asking any questions. They want to look like the hero or the expert. They make it so that you think the scammer is the only one who can help you. And whether you owe $1 million or you've won $1 million in some fake lottery, they want you to act immediately. They want you to act very quickly. Of course, there's some things we'll talk about in a bit about, say, pig butchering that kind of flips that around. But these are 3 big things that I see, and I'll kind of run through maybe an example. I think a lot of you are familiar with virus pop-ups. This is how I got started. This was the first scam that I realized even existed in the space. And just in case you don't know, very quickly, maybe you mistype a website or you click the wrong ad. This will pop up on your screen. It looks scary. It often plays very loud sounds. I almost was going to play it for you, but it's like ear piercing. sounds. So I didn't want to bother anyone. But more recently, of course, I blurred out the phone number, but more recently, scammers have been targeting specific brands with this as well. So this is kind of in case you can't see it, there's Chase, right? So part of that urgency is you've done something wrong. Maybe you were trying to go to your bank website, you misspelled it, or you clicked the first result on Google that scammers were actually paying to show up there. And now you see this page that has your bank or your financial institution. Maybe I've seen them doing it with investment accounts, social media accounts. Now you're thinking psychologically, like, this is really bad. I have to do something right now. Sometimes even I'm almost put this on the screen, but I would have just had to censor everything. Lately, they've even been putting like just straight up not safe for work. Just like there's pornography in the background to make you panic, to make you afraid, to make you think like, oh, what's going on? And it will just say right there on the screen that scammers are using your computer to serve this illegal pornography or something like that. It's to get you afraid, to get you to act quickly. So the next thing, of course, is they're going to want to connect to your computer. I think a lot of you are familiar with this, but one thing most people I have been talking to don't realize is that it's not just tech support scammers that are doing this anymore. So when I started in 2017, it felt like I would call an IRS scammer or someone pretending to be from the federal government, and they didn't really care about my computer. But now, if you won the lottery with some publisher's clearinghouse scammer, or you're involved in some kind of investment scheme or pig butchering or tech support scam, all these scammers are realizing, if I can gain access to your computer, if I can control your computer, I can kind of control your whole life. So some people are aware of how this works. You download completely legitimate software, lets you gain access to the computer. But what I don't think most people realize is, from a victim's perspective, this is what they see. So after you've allowed someone on your computer, you're panicking. In the virus pop-up scenario, you're panicking. Maybe in other scenarios, you're excited because you think you're about to win $1 million, right? But you have to act quickly. So now the victim sees this. Frankly, they don't see anything. And I don't know how much that's talked about, but we were forced to develop some tech. Someone on my team built a tool that would allow us to make that that screen transparent. So then we could start to watch what the scammers were doing behind the scenes. So we could watch them try to take money out of my account, wiring places, trying to apply for loans, trying to go on Amazon and buy gift cards. They would oftentimes just go up to the search bar and do all like the quick hits, like go to Amazon, go to different crypto exchanges, go to different bank accounts and financial accounts, or they'll go into your history and see what you're doing. You may not realize this, but if you save your passwords in something like Chrome, you can also just go and look at those passwords. So the entire time that your screen is hidden, there are scammers looking at your passwords and basically just acting as you, taking all your money. But from a victim's perspective, you think you're in the right hands, that I'm in a very terrifying situation, something really bad is happening or something really exciting is happening. I trust this person. And when in doubt, because that's a big part of the entertainment factor from my channel, is as much as I play the perfect victim, there's times where I will try to amp it up a bit. Maybe I'll say, my son is calling me. I better answer the call. And of course the scammers are going to say, do not answer the phone. If anyone finds out what's going on, it's going to be very bad. So when in doubt, the scammers have to start doubling down. Maybe they'll, sorry, that image looks a little bit blurry on my end. I apologize, but it's supposed to be the command prompt. And what scammers will do is they'll type in something like, hackers were found on your computer, or illegal porn was found on your computer. If the bank finds out what's going on, you are going to prison, right? the FBI is investigating this case. And so a lot of times if I'm being told to wire money, or I'm being told to take some money and take some cash and bring it to a Bitcoin ATM, buy gift cards, whatever it is, I'm being instructed very specifically to not talk to anybody. Keep this a secret. I've heard things like, we're not sure, but we think someone at Chase, someone at Bank of America, someone at whatever financial institution you're at, someone at Bank of America is the hacker. They're involved. You can't tell them anything when you go to the bank. Part of why I bring this up is because I have heard, so it's not all doom and gloom. I have had really exciting, I've heard great stories of bank tellers saving a lot of people from being scammed because they're aware of what to look out for. But I don't know if they're aware that the scammers are aware of that. And so they constantly are trying to funnel you to only trust them, talk to no one, don't talk to your family members. You don't want them to find out about this illegal porn on your computer. Tell them it's for a car. Tell them it's for something else. So we kind of talked about the urgency, talked about trust a little bit. I want to speak to sort of the investment scams. I know that in some ways this flipped things around a bit because there isn't always an immediate sense of urgency. I know there's going to be some great sessions about pig butchering later. One thing I've seen is they've taken sort of the traditional pig butchering play, that slow game where you earn someone's trust, get them on a fake platform, and manipulate the charts and graphs so it looks like you're making a lot of money. And other scammers all around the world have been putting their own spin on it. So for example, one we've been dealing with recently, a bunch of different people in my community had sent these in to me because they were getting involved with these scams, where this group, it's not called quantum AI. I'm just saying it's quantum AI because that's one avenue they use, where they advertise very heavily. So it's a lot different than matching with somebody on, say, Tinder or Facebook. It's you're on Snapchat or Reddit or Instagram or wherever, and you see an advertisement. Sometimes they're using deep fakes. It looks like Good Morning Britain was having an interview with Elon Musk. And they change a few words, and it says something about how you can be a part of this revolutionary platform. If you sign up today, you can make a lot of money. And maybe there'll be a little bit of urgency, like the first 100 people, like we only have 100 spots left or something like that. But they've started to employ that slow play that's so typical of the pig butchering scams. So just in case you haven't seen this, from a victim's perspective, once you do get roped into something like this, they'll get you on a platform where every single thing on this screen is fake. It can all be manipulated. Actually, let me retract one thing. Not everything is fake. They use real market data. I think that might be, I'm not 100% sure. I think that might be TradingView or something that they're just embedding into the platform. But they use real life trading data. They use third-party tools to show you charts and graphs. But the numbers at the top, the profit margin, your open positions, and all of that is something that they can manipulate, right? So when I've been involved in this, you can see that I actually caught one in the act a couple of weeks ago, where she opened up this trading position, and I logged into my platform, or their fake platform, and I was losing a bunch of money. Actually, I was like in the negative, and I called them. They didn't know that I was on the platform, and they just went in there and they made it so they opened the position 3 weeks ago, and the screenshot that you see is, oh, look, now I made $394. But if you don't know what to look for, you don't know what's going on as a victim, you log in here, and this looks incredible. This looks amazing. And these are some of the best, I hope some of you are familiar with what I'm talking about, but I think a lot of it's coming out of like Eastern Europe right now. like the quantum AI, heavily advertised stuff. These are some of the best scammers I've ever talked to. If you sign up for one of these um, forms within seconds, I almost should have just prepped it so I could have signed up right now. Within seconds, like not a minute will go by, and someone will be calling your phone. And they are some of the best salespeople, the best liars and manipulators I've ever heard in my life. They will try to get you in their platform. You'll put in $100, $200, and a week or two goes by, and it looks like you're making a lot of money. Again, from the victim's perspective, all this looks very, very legitimate. Someone's been guiding me through the process of making my first crypto account or going to a Bitcoin ATM. But what happens is they'll continue to reinforce that idea of like, don't really talk to your family about this, because they might look at it and they might want a big piece of the pie. So why don't you just take advantage of this offer for now? Or when you go to the bank, don't tell them that you're taking money out for an investment, because then you're going to be taxed a whole bunch. So they don't tell you to commit tax fraud, but they're saying, don't bring up the investment. Tell them that you're buying a car. Tell them that you're doing something else to keep you focused on them, to keep you isolated. Another big one that's been submitted to me a lot, and I imagine we'll be talking about throughout the day, is sort of this job scam meets pig butchering that maybe you're familiar with. I realize now that when I blow these pictures up, there's a lot to look at. But these are text messages that were sent to me just a few days ago from these are some scammers reaching out to a potential victim saying that, hey, we've got a completely legitimate work from home opportunity for you. You can work to help review hotels and make sure that the reviews are correct. They're not fake, something like that. And these scammers will use completely legitimate brands, things like Temu, Amazon. I've seen like marketing companies, hotels like Marriott hotels. They'll say, I'm hiring you to work from home. It's only going to take a few hours a week, and you can make a very significant amount of money. They'll have you log into this platform. Again, from a victim's perspective, this seems like a great opportunity to work from home, and they will train you to do this job. I don't know if any of you have done that training, but I've spent the hour or two that they spend with you walking through the platform, and it can feel fairly legitimate. You see reviews come in, or you see hotel bookings come in. They make these little tasks that seem legitimate, and you have to either approve or deny them. And as you're doing these tasks, you see money coming in. Of course, the catch is that while you're being trained, all that money coming in, the say $1,000 that you made after 2 hours of training, is just the training account. So now you have to log out of the training account and make your account. And to get started, you just need to invest a little bit of money. From the victim's perspective, this seems very legitimate. You just watched all the numbers go up. You just spent 2 hours being trained. You're working for a very legitimate, hotel company. Someone was there guiding you through the process. I've even seen scammers starting to, I guess in all of these examples, not just this one, use brands for recognition, like the Chase Bank virus pop-up. They will register domain names like Fidelity FX Trades or Kraken Coin or whatever it ends up being, Marriott Jobs. And it's just another way that you kind of psychologically get trapped into thinking that you're working with a legitimate company. I see it a lot in the Web3 space, where, especially if you need customer support, they'll be like waiting for you on Reddit or something, or on Twitter. If you say, I'm having trouble with my account, I can't figure out how to connect my wallet to something, or why my KYC wasn't working. And they have these domains where, you just click a button, or someone will reach out to you on Twitter, and it's like Coinbase support spelled wrong, or Fidelity spelled wrong. They message you, they take you to this page. Of course, if you were to click any of these buttons, it's going to ask you to auth with your wallet, and then they're going to drain everything. I hate to again be doom and gloom, but I feel like I have to talk a little bit about AI stuff and what I've seen on my end. I do think that AI is just going to make what's already kind of a bad situation even worse. So remember Brad Pitt from earlier? Let me see if I can make sure this will play. But that guy Brad Pitt from earlier, the Facebook guy, sent me this nice deep fake message.
I really miss you so much, baby. I love you forever.
And it's maybe not the best deep fake. I hope you guys heard that. Did you hear him say, "I love you forever"? Okay, I see. Yeah. So it's easy to kind of poke fun at, right? And it's easy to laugh at because it's not the best deep fake in the world. But to me, it's only going to get worse. If average run-of-the-mill scammers, I mean, this was just some random dude pretending to be Brad Pitt on Facebook. If he's doing stuff like this, it's only going to get worse. And of course, my mom, love her, she's not very tech savvy. So if she saw something like this, she may think that it actually is. She doesn't know what deep fakes are, except for that I've told her about it many, many times. Voice cloning is becoming a thing. I've had multiple reports. Just a couple weeks ago, I did the grandparents scam, where they call and say that some terrible situation happened to your grandson, and the only thing that they're going to prison, and the only thing that can help them is if you pay their bail. And they started to do voice cloning.
Scammers are using voice cloning technology, and it's becoming hard to distinguish from the real thing, especially over the phone.
That's a quick little demo of my voice. I think it's pretty close. It was about 30 seconds of audio. The other crazy thing that's going to start happening, and I almost hate to say this, but for better or for worse, I think people are used to when they hear, sometimes when someone calls them, then they hear an accent, they might be on guard a little bit. But now we have technology to just straight up remove accents, or even speak in other languages, or give yourself an accent. So like, here's me speaking German.
Ich kann sogar andere Sprachen wie Deutsch sprechen und es klingt perfekt.
And I don't know exactly what it was. I think it was something like I'm speaking German and it sounds pretty perfect. But that can be done, just to be clear, in near real time. I don't know if I'll be able to go through a whole demo of it now, just for the sake of time. But we've been building AI to fight back against scammers that uses the same voice cloning techniques to be able to talk to scammers. And the other day, there was a scammer speaking German, and the AI was just having a German conversation with the scammer, which I thought was fascinating. But yeah, scammers are starting to use AI. There's been in the investment space, there's deep fakes. I know that we've heard of the live streams on places like Facebook and YouTube, where someone like Elon or Kathy Wood is saying that you can double your money. But this was from a couple of weeks ago, and they've gotten a lot better. I'll just play it for a second.
On the screen of this YouTube broadcast, you see a QR code. Scan it right now to go to our official website. There, you need to make a deposit in cryptocurrency. It can be Bitcoin or Ethereum. And what happens next? Let me explain. After you make a deposit, you will receive back on your wallet twice as much cryptocurrency.
So the other thing about this that I didn't quite capture in the video, I know some people are laughing about the twice as much currency, but it does kind of look like he's talking about this, and it's on a live stream, it's on YouTube, it's on a page that says Tesla or SpaceX or something like that. And what was happening in this particular stream is that they were view botting, as we call it. They were adding a bunch of bots to the chat, and the chat was asking questions, like very specific questions, that then a few seconds later he would respond to. So they had it.
So like, if you send at least 0.1 Bitcoin,
like someone had asked, how does it work, or how much money can I make? And then he would respond almost as if it really was a live stream. So it's just getting more and more advanced. One that I'm particularly terrified about as someone who has children is some of the like deep faking or the deep nude type technology. We know how devastating sextortion is. I've heard absolutely devastating stories about it, even within my own community. I know we have a session on that later that I plan on being at and watching. But with this, like, the undressing type AI stuff is crazy, because you don't need to sext someone and send some pictures. You can just upload a photo, and within like seconds, it just makes you look like you're nude. It's not the most accurate in the world in some instances. It got a little bit confused with me. I figured like I felt like I had to test it out. But in all seriousness, it is something that as a parent, I think we do need to be really concerned about how AI works, how scammers are starting to use it. I've been talking, I feel like I've been very doom and gloom, and I'm a fairly hopeful person. I started this whole adventure of calling scammers with the hope that even if I spent 15 minutes on the phone with a scammer, that was 15 minutes that they weren't talking to someone else's grandma. And so I want to end briefly. I hope if any way I could inspire you guys, it's that I've noticed scammers are using very legitimate platforms, and they're using repetition. So that means they have to register domains. They have to host their websites. They have to use pay-per-click, right? They can't just take the money out of your wallet. They have to use Bitcoin ATMs. They have to send invoices to you. They have to remotely connect to your computer. And they, as much as the scammers reskin their scan a little bit over the years, they keep using the same tactics. I'm really hoping that I can inspire us, and throughout the day that you guys might be thinking, what kind of roadblocks can we put in place in our own platforms, in our own worlds, that will really slow them down? So a quick example, something that my team has been working on is, I might be able to play this. Yeah, is with in regards to remote connection tools. These are completely legitimate tools that the scammers have to use. And I don't want my mom to ever have a remote access tool on her computer, right? I don't want some scammer to be snooping on her passwords or her bank accounts or anything like that. So my team and I built some software that just monitors her computer, or anyone's computer for that matter. And if you're trying to install Alter Viewer or Screen Connect Client or anything like that, something pops up and it just won't let you install those things. I'll get a text message that says, my mom is, someone's trying to get on her computer. And I wanted to bring that up as an example of just some way that we can start to fight back. Another quick thing, and I know I'm perhaps near my time here, is when we talk about things like domains and website hosting, all of these certificates were registered today in about a 30-second time period. I just was looking at any certificates registered that had like trade or investments, and I looked at some of these and they're really sketchy. So we've been working on AI to just automatically detect these sorts of scams, right? I'm throwing these things out there because I know that we can fight back. I know that people like you who are watching that know your platforms like the back of your hand are going to be able to put roadblocks in place, and I'd love to be a part of it. Thank you guys so much for having me, and I hope to see you around later. I am going to have an AMA a little bit later today because we didn't really have time for questions. So, thanks, guys.
All right. Well, welcome everyone. Thanks, Kitboga. I'm Ian McAllister. I'm CEO here at Unit 21, and welcome to the first inaugural Fraud Fighters Virtual Summit. So what do you guys think about Kitboga? Kind of amazing stuff. I have teenage daughters, kind of scary stuff too. But if you all have questions for Kitboga, please bring them to his AMA at 1:20 today. I'm sure you're going to be jumping into some really interesting stories and topics. So today is really about bringing a community of fraud fighters together. Unit 21's honored to be sponsoring it. And just a little bit about us. Our mission is to bring justice to the world by stopping bad actors. We've been in business since 2018. We help hundreds of banks, credit unions, fintechs, crypto, and payment companies stop fraud and stay in compliance with anti-money laundering regulations. And we've got a quick infographic going here, but if at any point in the day you're interested in learning more about Unit 21, we have a demo lounge with a bunch of short videos that you can engage with and see Unit 21 in action. And the way to get there is you go to the agenda, you scroll down to the Unit 21 showcase. But speaking of agenda, and this is kind of important, you can navigate really session by session without registering further. Just click on the agenda tab and navigate to the session you want to join. There's going to be 3 sessions going on in tandem throughout the day, and the sessions are going to be 30 minutes long. We built in a 5-minute break so you can navigate between each one without kind of missing a thing. In about 5 minutes, we have our next sessions. One, we have a session on sextortion with Paul Rafiel. He's got a pretty wild story also about a rescinded job offer from Meta, so I know he's going to dive into that. We also have a session on consortiums moderated by one of my favorite people in the world, my former boss, Luann Alexander. She's prior Chief Product Officer and Interim CEO at Early Warning. And we have a session with Detective Matthew Hogan, who's interviewing former money launderer Kenneth Rijak. So that's about it for now. We're super glad you're here. We will see you in the next sessions, and I'll see you with Trisha, CEO here at Unit 21 at the end of the day. So enjoy.